And just a reminder, each weekday afternoon at 6:30 Eastern Time on ESPN2 Sports Center at the Indianapolis 500, along with Scott Goodyear. I will be here bringing you an update on what's happening each day here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Monday, we recap Pole Day Qualifying. Tuesday, it's a look back at the 10th year anniversary of the IRL and the IndyCar Series. And special shows, including Danny Sullivan on board with the Spin and Win look back. Sullivan comes to visit here at Indianapolis once again at his Sports Center at the Indy 500. Now let's check out trackside where Dario Franchitti has climbed out near Vince Welch.
Well, Dario chatting with Michael Andretti and his engineering group after that solid run. 226.475 puts you 7th quick. What's the conversation about here? About maybe doing it again?
We're talking about it. That wasn't a very good run. As far as the car just didn't, we made a couple of adjustments and we maybe just hurt it a bit. I don't think we've got a shot at the pole, but there could be a shot at the front row. So we're just talking about it here.
How greedy are you?
Oh, as I say, I don't think I have a shot realistically at TK. I'd like a front row though, so we'll just talk about it and see what happens.
If they leave it up to you, will you go out and give it another run?
If we can make the right choices with the car, yeah. I think I got everything out of the car there was to get there, so we have to make some changes, but we'll see. The wind changed a bit, but it's all it takes here.
Boy, this is a tough decision-making time, guys, and you can see the huddled engineers and crew chief Dave Populars, Michael Andretti in there, everyone visiting together, trying to decide whether it's worth rolling the dice one more time. One of the nice little perks of this new format here, Doc.
Yeah, you saw those guys. Alan McDonald, the engineer there. There's Kevin Savory on the right side of your screen. That's Kyle Moyer, the team manager there with his hand on his forehead. And they're trying to make a decision. You know, last year, Dario Franchitti started on the outside of row 1 and led a lap here and struggled a little bit in the middle of the race. But he says, and you talked to Dario all year long. He says, you know, we've been good everywhere we've been this year, but the one we really want for this team is the Indy 500. So Michael Andretti is a part of that. You know, Michael, he never sat on the pole at Indianapolis, so if Tony Kanaan wins the pole, it's going to be the first pole for Michael and Michael's team, although his dad, Mario, did have 3 Indy 500 poles. There's a look at Ed Carpenter, the Vision Racing efforts. Ed, the second-year driver who grew up just a stone's throw from this racetrack in Speedway, Indiana, and a couple of years ago became the very first winner of the Futaba Freedom 100, the Menards Infinity Pro Series event, 1 week after he graduated from Butler University. Now, what happens in the Cheever camp? Alex Barron has been bumped. Patrick Carpenter is on the bubble. Why don't we find out from the man himself? Let's go down to Jamie Little.
And I'm with Eddie Cheever now. Eddie, I know this is a situation you or nobody else has ever been in being bumped on Pole Day. The situation you guys are in, what is your plan from here?
Oh, we're still trying to find some speed. Unfortunately, we have to put both of our cars in line, and one of them is probably going to bump the other. But we're still looking for that little something to get us over that brink, and we haven't found it. Both drivers on the track right now, we're just trying to pick up some things. But if we're not in the top 22, that just gives us a few more days testing next week to try to find some extra speed. But the track looks a little bit quicker.
No, Eddie, a lot of people at home may be wondering, what makes you guys so much different than maybe the Penske guys? It's not always just the engine. What else is a factor when it comes to speed?
It's a whole bunch of things. You try to control everything you can that's in your sphere that you can control, but the things that you can't, there's no reason worrying about them. So we're just trying to set up our cars the best we can, get them fast on the straightaway and flatter on the corners. But we seem to have reached a limit where we can't break through on speed, and we don't really know why.
So you're going to go back out, both drivers going to attempt again. All right, guys, the drama is building more. We see more cars lining up for qualifying.
I don't think I've ever seen Eddie Cheever more frustrated because he knows they've got good drivers and great equipment. They just can't find the secret. They've got to find something because the clock is ticking here on Pole Day. Back in a moment. And we welcome you back to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway IRL IndyCar Series Pole Day qualifying for the 89th running of the Indianapolis 500. Along with Vince Welch and Jamie Little and Greg Ray, I'm Jerry Punch. Glad to have you with us for what has been an eventful afternoon here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The yellow right now on the racetrack for a track inspection, as we are just past the bottom of the hour, and we're going to fill you in on what happened on one of the big stories today. When qualifying began at noon o'clock Eastern time, or 1 o'clock Eastern time, all eyes were on the 23-year-old rookie sensation Danica Patrick. It was 12:46 p.m. local when Patrick took the Argent Pioneer Ray Hall Letterman machine on the racetrack. She's getting up to speed, takes the green flag, but soon problems in turn one. The car down on the white line has a bit of a wobble, but she gathers it back in and keeps her foot planted. Danica is the real deal. She climbs out at that point in time. She says, nope, I didn't get it done. I was wanted to be on the pole. She was on the front row. Later in the day, she would try to go back out and find more speed. The car at 227.6. Would that be enough? The engineers talked it over and said, you know, we don't have enough to go back out and be on the pole, so why go back out and risk it? They pulled her helmet off and pulled her away and said, job well done, young lady. Danica, the rookie, currently sits in the middle of row 2 with an impressive 4-lap average at 227.004. Take a look at women in the Indy 500 and the best they've qualified. Well, you see Danica is the best of the best. 5th right now sitting on the qualifying list. Lynn St. James qualified 6th in 94. Sarah Fisher in 2002 9th. And Janet Guthrie, who basically opened the door for women in IndyCar racing, started 14th here, her best start at Indy. Well, you heard Jamie Little a moment ago talking to Eddie Cheever. He said, I'm afraid what's going to happen is we're going to go out and bump our other car out of the field. And of course, if he does get in this field, this is Alex Barron. That's exactly what would happen, because Patrick Carpenter is on the bubble right now in 22nd position.
Well, both of their cars were near the back now. His teammate is on the bubble. He's trying to get his way back into the field. But I tell you what, there's less than 30 minutes to go, and there's 15 cars that want to go out there and either requalify or actually get qualified. It's going to be very, very exciting here. It's going to get really hot very quickly.
Well, as you watch this Red Bull Cheever car get ready to go out, what's going on in the Andretti Green camp? Let's check in with Vince.
Tony Kanaan is in his race car right now, and you see Kanaan sitting there. Currently, he is on the pole. So why would he be in the car, you ask? Well, they might go out for a practice run just in case they do get bumped from the pole. They'll have a better idea of what they need to tweak if they do put it in the line to qualify. So at this point, they're just being cautious, but Kanaan sits in the car waiting for the word to say go, either out for practice or possibly even after he goes out for a practice run, if someone would happen to knock him from pole position, maybe go out for another qualifying attempt. Now, the Andretti Green team in general, Dario Franchitti, remember we spoke with him, he had qualified 7th quickest. They have withdrawn that car. Now Franchitti is back in line, and they're going to take him out for another qualifying attempt. So they're rolling the dice. 7th, not good enough for Franchitti and the Andretti Green team. But then there's Dan Weldon, not happy with his 15th place on the grid, but they've not found the appropriate speed worthy of going for another qualifying run. And then there's Brian Herta, who's 17th currently on the grid. Team not completely pleased with that either. So there's a lot to be decided here in the next 37 minutes with this Andretti Green team. At least they have one driver who's happy, and that's Tony Kanaan, currently on pole.
Thank you, Vince. By the way, you see that thing right in front of him? That's not a Slurpee machine from 7-Eleven. That is an electric fan that they just hang over the steering wheel. That little tube there blowing air on Tony Kanaan. You know, people are wondering, what is that contraption there? That's keeping the driver cool as he's sitting in the car. Now, I wonder how cool the wives are, particularly one Ashley Judd, who flew all the way in from Arkansas to watch her husband qualify. Let's check in with Jamie.
Yes, Ashley Judd is here, and Michael Andretti's driving away with us on the back of the golf cart here. Ashley, you guys just rolled up. You're going for the 3rd attempt. I can't imagine this drama as a wife.
It's fairly suspenseful, but the car has been favorable in cold conditions, and it's a little cooler now. The wind changing is hurting us some. When it goes into a crosswind, it drops off quite a lot. So we'll see. I mean, we don't think that we will do any worse than where we are right now, which I believe is P7 or P9 inside of row 3, whatever that is in Indy. But we might improve. I mean, we certainly have a car to improve, as I said, when it gets a little cooler. So we'll see. It's very suspenseful, and it's a great format for the fans.
What did he say when he came in from his last run?
I at that point was trying to give him a little bit of space because I know time is running out. So the team kind of clustered around him and they were making their decisions. I'm sure I'll get an earful later, though.
You're a very busy lady. I know you're working on a picture right now and you were able to drop in here. When are you going back and what are you working on?
I'm working on a picture called Come Early Morning down in Little Rock, beautiful Little Rock, Arkansas. I'd never spent time there before. It's absolutely stunning and very green, my kind of place. And I just basically scored a ride on some guy's plane to come up for qualifying, which is the only way I made it, because with the commercial flights and the connecting, we work about a 70-hour week on a film, and weekends are really for rest and not much else. And I'm extremely grateful that I could make it today.
And we'll see you back at the race?
I'm working all night the week before, so I'll be crawling in here on my belly, but I will be here.
Very supportive wife, Ashley Judd. Thank you for your time. Dario Franchitti is getting ready to go back out, guys.
You gotta love Ashley. She is all over what's happening with her husband, here to support him on his third and final attempt on pole day. Alex Barron when we come back. And perfect timing. Alex Barron just takes the green flag, goes on the clocks here to try to get his way back in the field. He was in the field earlier and bumped out a moment ago by Dario Franchitti. So we'll see if another one of the Red Bull Cheever cars can get back in. It's just taking the green flag, and his warm-up laps were 2:16.7 and 2:20.5, both of which, the second one was considerably faster than he had qualified earlier.
I tell you what, the time is ticking down. It's time for him to get into the field, and the next car in line is Dario Franchitti. He withdrew a 7th place car to try again. It'll be Franchitti's last attempt in that car today, so it's going to get hot here in a hurry.
Take a look at Alex Barron, by the way, averaged 2:19.958 on his first qualifying run. And there's Elio Castroneves sitting in the Marlboro Team Penske machine. We know what he can do in the final minutes of pole day. We saw it a couple of years ago. What was a sensational effort. Okay, first time by. Good lap for Alex Barron, 2:21.118. And that is faster than any of his 4 laps on his previous attempt earlier in the day. He was the 6th car to go on the track shortly after 1 o'clock local time, 2 Eastern, so it is cool here in the final hour of pole day. And second time by, even quicker, 2:21.162. So whatever's happening with the guys down there in the Red Bull Cheever team, Max Jones and company, they have improved this car.
If Barron keeps this pace up, he'll definitely get in the field, at least temporarily. The only bad side is his teammate, Patrick Carpentier, will be outside looking in again.
Carpentier right now the slowest in the field at 2:19.999 as he comes by for the white flag. Third time by for Alex Barron, and it is 2:21.144. Still not bad. Very consistent laps for Barron, the Menifee, California resident.
This is a great job by Alex. It's a pressure cooker situation. He just got bumped out. He's going faster than he did before. He's really hanging the car out there. He wants to be in the race today.
Well, the good news is if he can hold on here in this final lap, he will get this car back in the field. And even the better news is he will not be on the bubble because he would slip by Jacques Lazier into 21st position. Here he comes out of turn 4. And right now he is 20th because he has picked the speed up a little bit. Lap 4 for Alex Barron, 2:20.769. The average of 2:21.053 puts him 20th right now and back in the top 22 for pole day qualifying. Great job. A job well done for Alex Barron and the Red Bull Cheever team. But unfortunately, that does, as you heard Greg Ray a moment ago, that does bump his teammate, Patrick Carpentier. There's Ed Carpenter pulling out, and there is Patrick Carpentier as he realizes now that he has been bumped from the top 22. And we told you the drama would build. Carpenter on the track. Carpentier watches. Helio Castroneves in line. We've heard that Franchitti's going to go back. And with that run a moment ago, Carpentier has been bumped off. Barron in the field at 21st. Jacques Lazier on the bubble. And Patrick Carpentier will now have to try again. He is not in the top 22.
Yeah, well, he's sitting there on the pit wall looking in, and he doesn't look like he's moving too fast. So maybe Team Cheever has decided that maybe they'll just go ahead and reserve that spot, try to get him in next weekend, and they're not going to try to rush too much right now.
So anyone that qualifies right now, including Ed Carpenter on the track warming up, will have to go quicker than 2:20.034. There's a look at Dario Franchitti. And Franchitti is going to withdraw and has withdrawn that 7th quickest time, the 2:26.475, in a chance in hopes of going out on his 3rd and final, the key word is final, attempt here on pole day to put that car in the front row.
That is the real risky part. If something went wrong and this was just a 2nd qualifying attempt, he could still try to slide in there before the 6 o'clock hour. But this is his 3rd and final. So if anything goes wrong, any possible thing goes wrong, he is a 2nd weekend qualifier.
Now, Greg, when that happens, I know you've had those pressure cooker moments. You're in the car, everyone sort of clears away. You don't want anybody talking to you.
Yeah, the thing is, you want a lot of focus, and the biggest thing here is that he's given up a 7th place position. So this is a risk versus reward. You can tell Dario and Andretti Green, they really want to have a couple cars on that front row, and they're definitely going for it.
I'm putting my money on Dario Franchitti to make it even higher than it is now in the field. Green flag waves for Ed Carpenter from here in Indianapolis, Indiana. 24-year-old stepson of Tony George. It's Vision Racing. Tony and Laura George formed it early in the year. We had a vision. The Indy Racing League needed to be formed, and the IndyCar Series has become a super success over the last 2 years. So he reinvests in his own series by having a race team with his stepson Ed Carpenter aboard.
Talking about exciting things. Weldon's getting ready to get in the car. Castroneves, he wants to get back up on the front row. Lots of things going to happen here real quick. Ed Carpenter just wants to be fast enough to get up to into the field.
Last warm-up lap for Carpenter was 2:19.634. First time by. Under the clock's 2:19.207. That will not be quick enough. He'll have to pick it up considerably to get in the top 22. Jacques Lazier, his 4-lap average at 2:20.034 miles an hour. That's what he has to beat to get in the top 22 today.
Ed Carpenter's driving a Toyota-powered Dallara. It is a new team this year, and you know, they've really struggled to find speed here. The competitive waters here are very, very deep, and they are really struggling to find the speed.
Ed Carpenter, 23 career Indy Racing League IndyCar Series starts. His top finish, 8th at Kentucky last year. He has 2 16th place finishes this year at Phoenix and Motegi.
Carpenter's teammate, Jeff Ward, he's been out there running as well, and he wants to get in this show before 6 p.m. It was a mighty close brush there to turn 2.
All right.
Up, he's coming in.
Didn't have enough speed there. He is waved off, and he will not complete that run. And now Patrick Carpentier was bumped a moment ago. You're right, you're not seeing things, folks. But when Dario Franchitti withdrew his time, that put Carpentier back in the field, at least temporarily. So that's how that works, because with all this new format here on pole day. And now Dario Franchitti has withdrawn the 7th fastest car in the field to go back out with his final attempt to put it in the front row. We'll chronicle that effort when we come back in just a moment. Back at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, we are in Speedway, Indiana. Final minutes of pole day, and the drama really building now for Dario Franchitti, the 31-year-old Flying Scotsman from Edinburgh, Scotland. A 2-time winner last year. He qualified earlier in row 5, went back out, put it inside row 3, 7th overall, and said, no, we've got more in this ARCA X machine for Andretti Green. And I tell you, that is a gutsy move to pull out a car, Greg Ray, that averaged 226.475 and go at it for your final time.
Well, with such little time remaining, that is a very, very big risk. And with these rules, I think we're trying to keep up with the strategy of what's going on, the chess game. When he withdrew that car, that allowed Patrick Carpenter to be back in the field. Probably if Franchitti does the speeds we think he can do, he's only going to get bumped out again. So it is very fast. It's very crazy.
Let's see what Michael Andretti has to say. Vince?
Michael Andretti pulled Dario out of the line. He was 7th on the grid. Why roll the dice with the big risk?
I mean, we just thought maybe he could go a little quicker because he was in practice. The car went off a little bit in that run because they made a change, and so they're going back to what they did before because they think they can go a little quicker.
Anything less than the pole satisfactory here?
Well, front row would be nice, but, you know, we're a little worried about Elio right now.
Will Dan Weldon make another attempt?
No. Well, he's in line, but probably not.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vince. First time back, 2:27.186, and yes, he is faster than he was the last time out on his very first lap. So that's any indication. Michael Andretti and all the guys here, Kyle Moyer, you know, Alan McDonald, they've all made the right decision, but he's still got 3 more laps to put it up there.
Yeah, I tell you, that's fast enough to probably get him on the front row, but it is a pressure cooker situation. They know Castroneves is sitting in his car. He wants to be on the front row. He wants to be on the pole as well. There's less than 13 minutes left, and it's just, again, it's just completely crazy. It's going to get a lot of fun here, real hurry.
We told you at Indianapolis that it is a day that can change your life forever. Yes, you want to be the pole sitter, but you also want to be on the front row. Second time by, a little slower, 2:26.959. That would not get him on the front row. He's going to have to pick it up with 5 miles to go. 2 laps here in the final minutes of pole day.
You know, with a couple laps remaining, he's improved his spot 2 positions if he can just keep this up. But again, just a big, big risk.
Incredible courage. We said none but the brave go out here in the final minutes. It is cool. The wind picks up, and you are really rolling the dice. That time by, what were the numbers for Dario Franchitti? Even slower, 2:26.727. He is in 6th spot right now. If he were to hold there, he would still gain a spot. So it would have been a good move to withdraw the car.
Yeah, it sure seems like a lot of work and a lot of risk to improve 1 spot, but that tells you what the Indy 500 in qualifying is. And if they got it just right, put him on the front row or go for a pole, that's what it's all about.
As you look at Michael Andretti, I'm reminded of those words that Al Unser Jr. spoke in Victory Lane as he was trying to hold back the tears when he said, "You just don't know what Indy means." So much work, so much effort as he has come across, and Vince Welch 2:26.873. They pick it up a spot, not for the front row, but he is currently 6th overall outside row 2.
Well, Michael Andretti and gang discussing it. You picked up 1 spot.
Yeah.
And now you got to kind of wait for Helio Castroneves to go out and give it a run.
That's what it is now. It's just a waiting game because I don't think there's enough time for us to even put Tony in. So see what Elio does.
Of all teams, the Andretti Green team and the Penske team always seem to be the teams that are battling one another. A nice little rivalry going there.
It is. I mean, they're the best around here. So if we can beat them, you know, we've done something. But they're going to be tough. You know, they always are. And they must know something to be doing what they're doing. So we're a little worried.
How much of a disappointment would it be to be knocked from pole position?
It'd be a big disappointment, especially for Tony, because he's been here before, and Elio actually knocked him off the last time he was in this position. So we'd be a little bummed out.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Well, a moment ago, you saw Tiffany Hammer hand Tim Cindric, the president of Penske, a pen. He had to sign the paper to withdraw Elio Castroneves' qualifying time. Castroneves, who is inside of row 2, now doesn't have a qualifying time. It's as if he never ran earlier today. That's the drama of the new format. Castroneves, earlier in the day, ran 2:27.077 miles per hour for a 4-lap average, which put him inside of row 2. Now with that signature, that is gone. We'll see what happens in the final minutes. Now he's going to try to put the car in the front row.
You know, and with less than 10 minutes left, I think there's 5 or 6 cars in line. There's no way we're even going to have time. So it's going to really get down right to the crunch. And I think this is probably the biggest moment. Can Castroneves hold his breath? Can he suck it up? Have they found something? Have they played their cards that close to their chest that they're going to be able to pull out a pole here?
And we know you race fans want to see every single second of it. So we're going to stay here commercial free until the end as Pole Day has some dramatic moments yet to come. Can Castroneves do what he did a couple of years ago with a remarkable run here as the conditions were worsening a little bit? Remember now, his teammate Sam Hornish went back out earlier in the afternoon and improved by almost 2 miles per hour. Did they use the Hornish setup for Castroneves? Does he know something he didn't know before? If indeed he does, I wonder if the pole is in jeopardy.
Well, you know what? Hornish went from 10th to 2nd, and if Castroneves can go from where he withdrew to go to now, if he can qualify that many more positions ahead, that's going to mean pole. So it's going to, I tell you what, this is just, it's making me squirm in my seat up here. So it's just very, very exciting.
I tell you, it's hard. We're wearing out the carpet here, walking back and forth. Elio Castroneves driving for the man whose cars have won 12 Indy 500 poles.
You know, again, I'm going to say that I think everybody really thought a Honda Power team was going to have the advantage here. You know, the one thing that I've always said that even if Roger Penske had a rubber band in the back of his car, there's no way you could ever bet because Roger Penske at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and Castroneves has shown time and time again he's got what it takes when push comes to shove.
Rick Reideman, the veteran chief mechanic on this car. All those guys that work so very hard. Tim Cindric having to withdraw it. Roger Penske giving the okay. And earlier in the day, Jamie Little was talking to Elio and said, Elio kept wondering, says, I need to go back out. I have to go back out. I want to go back out. The nervous energy of Elio Castroneves now all focused on 4 final laps to get that car on the front row. His last warm-up speed, very, very good, 226.979.
That's one of the fastest warm-up speeds we've seen all day long, and you were talking about him getting ready to get back in the car. He was bouncing around his pit box, kind of playing like he was boxing. It's just like a prize fighter right before he goes to fight, and looks like Helio's ready to fight.
He works out 6 days a week. He's all about personal training and focus, and he will need all of that and more. Tony Kanaan, right side of your screen, he's the current pole sitter. He and Elio are both from Brazil. They both live in South Florida, and they both are very, very good friends. But right now, Elio Castroneves, his best friend is that clock. Fewer seconds, more speed. Can he put the car on the pole? Can he put that man on the pole for the 13th time at the Indy 500?
He's going to have to pick it up, 227.330. He's if he keeps that pace for 3 more laps, that would put him in the middle of the front row. That's 3 laps to go. That's a long way.
Now, historically, Castroneves has been able to find a way to pick it up. Not many have done that over the years. 227.330.
I think if you watched all the qualifying times today, most of the drivers have done their fastest lap on the first lap.
We'll see what happens with Castroneves second time by. No, he goes the other way, 226.939. That still puts him on the front row, but on the outside, he cannot lose any more time or speed.
He lost 0.4 of a mile an hour. That's not very much, but you can see how tight it is. That was just enough to push him back to 1 spot. If he wants to stay on the front row, he's going to have to pick it up. If he wants to go forward, he's going to have to really pick it up.
The drama unfolding here in the final moments of pole day. Top 22 spots to be settled for the 89th running of the Indianapolis 500.
5 minutes to go. White flag. Fell just a little bit more, 0.3 of a mile an hour. That puts him back on the second row.
Right now he is in 5th spot, so he would have lost a position. If he can't pick it up here, then this gamble would not have paid off for Elio Castroneves. He was 4th overall when he went out to run, and right now he is 5th.
Pretty interesting if you look at the front row as it sits right now. You have a Honda Power Dallara. You have a Toyota Power Dallara. You have the Honda Power G-Force. The parity here is very, very good.
And here he comes out of turn 4, taking the checkered flag. 4th time by for Castroneves. It is 226.8. His speed comes back up to 226.927, which puts him 5th overall. Let's check in with Roger Penske down at the upper end of the pits. Jamie?
Well, Roger's looking at the board right now. Roger, would you consider this a calculated risk or a gamble?
Well, I guess it was a gamble, but we asked Elio what he wanted to do, and he's done it for us before, and certainly he had the capability. We just didn't get the speed, but great job, great effort. We did everything we could do today.
It was worth it then.
Sure was.
All right, congratulations, second row.
Yeah, thank you.
Roger Penske, guys, take it away.
All right, Jamie. Well, Tony Kanaan says, whew, I can climb out of this rocket right now.
Oh, look at him rubbing on that car.
He's rubbing that big 7-Eleven decal. My buddy Elio Castroneves didn't quite get it done. But I tell you what, I wouldn't have bet against Castroneves. And if I was Roger Penske and Elio Castroneves said, give me another shot, I would have said, absolutely, buddy, you got it.
There's probably no more cars in the field that can bump him out. And I tell you what, Tony Kanaan has accomplished lots of things, but winning the pole for the Indianapolis 500 is an incredible feat and something that he'll remember for a long time.
Boy, Tony Kanaan, his heart had to be pounding sitting in that car. And if he can hold on here in these final moments, he will give Honda their second Indy 500 pole in a row. He gets a big hug there from Kim Green. The speed, you become an instant international celebrity, not just in this country.
Well, I tell you what, whether it's winning the race, winning the pole, or anything at this level, these are the types of things that sometime in your career you like to check off, and it looks like Tony Kanaan's done that. Jeff Bucknum's out on the racetrack right now. He's just trying to get in his field right now, and we'll see if he has the speed to do that.
Okay, let's check in where Tony Kanaan has finally pulled the helmet off. Vince?
Congratulations on the pole for the greatest spectacle in racing, the Indianapolis 500. Well done.
It's not done yet. And it's not 6 o'clock in my clock, so I'll wait until then, and then we'll celebrate.
You've taken the big hug from Kim Green, though. I know that Elio was the one bullet you were most concerned about.
No, Kim gave me a hug just to tell me that I survived the day, not to congratulate me yet.
What would it mean to you to officially earn pole position at Indianapolis?
It would be good. It's a good start, but what I want is May 29th. But there's definitely, this team worked so hard that I gotta thank, you know, everybody, all my guys, my teammates, that you know, they've been very supportive, and you know, I feel bad for them because I think we should have the other cars up there with us, but we have good race cars, and we keep working together, man, and we'll work until the end.
Are you glad you didn't have to go out for another run?
Yeah, but I was ready. I mean, you saw me. I was ready to go, but I'm glad not to, yes.
Well done. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Tony Kanaan.
Vince, he would become the 4th Brazilian to ever win the pole here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And there's a look at Eric Calvin, his longtime engineer. They've had so much success together. The number 11 car last set on the pole at Indy in 1998 when Billy Boat drove it. But a number 11 has never won the Indy 500. This would be Tony Kanaan's 6th career pole and his first one here at the greatest spectacle in racing. And most drivers are superstitious. They don't want to say I've got it until the gun officially sounds at 6 o'clock.
No, that's absolutely right. I tell you, one surprise I have here is Vitor Meira and Ray Hall. They went out and practiced not too long ago, and they did a lot of 227s in a row. And I think Vitor Meira was a real sleeper that had a possibility to go for a pole, and they decided not to get back in line. So that's one big surprise for me.
All right, coming up, NHRA Summit Racing Southern Nationals from Atlanta, Georgia. Marty Reed, Mike Dunn and company. We'll have that coming up in just a moment. We want to complete this run for Jeff Bucknum, the rookie driver. Of course, his dad, Ronnie Bucknum, a 3-time entrant. He ran 3 Indianapolis 500s, won the first open-wheel Indy-style race at Michigan back in 1970, and was, of course, the very first driver for Honda when they ran in Formula One way back in August of 1964. Jeff Bucknum driving for Dreyer and Reinbold and takes the white flag. His laps have been 221.388, 221.639, and a very respectable 221.473. So he could easily get himself in the top 22. And if he does, that would bump Jacques Lazier out of the field here on pole day.
Pretty exciting, coming right down to the minute. It looks like he's going to get the job done if he can just complete a couple more corners, and it's going to be really tough for Jacques Lazier. I know he wants to work on race setup next year, but that is the excitement of a pole day and bubble day all in one.
38-year-old Jeff Bucknum in the Investment Properties of America car coming off of turn 4, and he will take the checkered flag, and the young man has done it. Congratulations on the rookie, Jeff Bucknum. Great job, Robbie Buell, Dennis Reinbold and company. As they have put this rookie in his very first attempt, they have put him in the field, and that will officially bump Jacques Lazier from the top 22.
I can tell you, certainly everybody at that team and that camp, they are jumping up and down. You know, he struggled for speed and consistency all day long. The last second, definitely a pressure cooker situation, and congratulations, they got in the field.
And we want to congratulate also Tony Kanaan on what an effort. There's Helio Castroneves. He went back out and gave it a heck of an effort. Couldn't quite get it done. He's in the middle of row 2. Well, of course, we'll be here tomorrow with our Sports Center coverage from the Indianapolis 500 at 6:30 Eastern Time. And myself and Scott Goodyear. For Vince Welch, Jamie Little, and Greg Roy, I'm Jerry Punch. Once again, congratulating Tony Kanaan. He is the pole sitter for the 89th running of the Indianapolis 500. Coming up, NHRA Summit Racing Nationals from Atlanta, Georgia. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sport. So long, everybody.